walk by the camera down there. At this stage.
Steve, we'll just start yelling for him.
Dude, he's lost so much weight.
Yeah, dude, he's following in my footsteps. I like to take full credit for his training. Yeah. Dude, he started almost the same exact weight I did. I was 231, and I think he was like 233 when he started. Oh, he's here. There he is.
Boom. You're really starting to look different, Steve. Like I feel like now is like your face is starting to shift too.
Yeah, it's starting to transform. What's up, guys?
What did you start at, Steve? Your weight loss journey?
Well, when I was hanging out with you, Avery, when I started ripping those nicotines down, I was like 230.
Okay. Yeah. So you're about the same as me when I started. I was at 231.
How tall are you though?
I'm like 5'8" on a good day.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm on the dating websites, I would say I was 5'10", but I'm more like 5'9", but.
Yeah, my IT says I'm 5'11", but they don't care. They just ask you whatever you want to. How tall you want to be today, sir? I'm like, I guess 5'11".
Yeah, I'm not on the dating websites anymore, but I'm saying back in the day.
Disclaimer for Iris.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny. I commented on the Facebook post and I said, we need to update. We need a better looking photo of myself because I don't weigh 231 pounds no more. And I'm doing more than 10K a month. So we got to update those numbers as well.
Yeah. For the thumbnail. Let's do it.
What are you weighing at now, Mike? What are you at?
I'm at I hover between like 170 and 175.
Gotcha.
And it was all calorie deficit. I didn't step foot in the gym. Like we go for walks every once in a while. I ate 1,000 calories for 6 months straight a day.
Yeah. Dude, it's the biggest thing, man. It's like knowing your numbers, and this even goes to business as well. But my weight loss was like super inconsistent. But once I started tracking my calories and tracking my numbers, the weight loss just started to fly off. And isn't it funny in business, the same thing? Like once you start to know your numbers, like what are you actually spending? Like what's your sell-through rate? Like, are you actually repricing? You're paying attention to the little details. And it's funny how your sourcing gets better, your sell-through rate gets better. You stop buying the junk.
Yeah. Sometimes it's painful to look at. Like if your numbers aren't that good and like you're in the mindset of like, I'm going to make it. Like that's how I was starting out. And then I'd like realize like I'm only making like a couple thousand a month. Like I didn't even run my numbers till I started cracking like 10K a month because I just didn't want, like in my head, I always was like, I wanted to make 10K profit a month. And like, I knew I wasn't there yet. And then started tracking my net worth when I was negative. Like my net worth was negative and that fucking sucked to look at, but then you start making different decisions each month. You notice what makes your net worth go up or down. And like, if you do this, the net worth number is going to be a lot different at the end of the month. And really changes your decision making. So, and then like when it comes to business and like Amazon, it's how much inventory you're sending. Like you can't be upset about your sales if like exactly what needs to be done to get more sales. It's send in more good inventory. That's it. And so if you haven't been doing that, sometimes it's easy not to peek at those numbers.
I'm curious. I had this debate with myself and a close friend. Like what stops any single person, age, weight, size, race, from making a whole bunch of money selling on Amazon, right? Like I try to think about it. If us three decided to start the same business today, like what's the differentiator? Because I think to myself, like, if I can do this, anybody can do that. But that sounds like scammy, right? Like saying anybody can go do this business. But at the end of the day, like there's nothing proprietary about what I do, right? Like there's no secret that Steve does or you do in your business that nobody else has access to. So theoretically, in the whole realm of things, if you just put in the time, any single person, whether they start today or they started a month, a year ago, can absolutely just knock this business out of the park.
Yeah. I would start, if you don't mind, Avery, I would say, go for it. Resilience, the willing to, go through the pain, willing to, fight through the lows, go through the challenges. Like it takes time, it really does take time to be successful in anything. It could be YouTube, it could be a software business, it could be Amazon. And that's why I think like for me, I say this all the time. I don't think I would have been successful reselling if I didn't have my YouTube channel, because the YouTube channel forced me to hold myself accountable, but also it helped me to have like a network as my backbone. You know, like if I was going through struggles or challenges, and you could probably relate to this too, Avery, because, you know, as a wrestler, right, you wrestled, and wrestlers are some of the toughest people. Like you're going through pain and struggles and challenges all the time. But if you look at your wrestling buddies and you see them in the gym sweating with you, dying with you, having to cut weight, dealing with injuries, it's probably a lot easier to not quit because you're like, everyone else is doing it. When you have a really strong network, it's like, I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a mental thing. It's like when you're even like going to a coffee shop to work versus staying at home and working. Like if you just see like, you know, this guy's grinding and he's like, you know, sucking down an espresso, or you see this chick over here and you just like see them tapping away at the computer. It's kind of a stupid thing, but your human brain goes like, okay, we're in here like working right now. And so like the environment you're around really changes what you think you should be doing. And if all of your friends are Amazon sellers making a lot of money on Amazon, then you go to sleep at night and think, what the fuck is wrong with me if your Amazon business isn't making money? Like you literally think like, well, there's something wrong with me because like my best friend's making X amount. They're making X amount, blah, 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 blah. Like just dozens of people. And then your human brain is like, it like, you know, it wants to be part of a tribe. It wants to survive. And it's like, oh, well, all these people are making money. So like, it changes your perspective. And that's why I'm such a huge believer in networking. Shout out Miami Sellers Conference coming up right around the corner. But the reason why I do these events in person is because I realize how big of an impact it has on you when you meet people doing that. Like Mike would probably be making 20 times as much if he ever showed up to an in-person event.
Oh my, come on, man. Leave Mike alone, dude.
It's all right. It's all right. Listen, so everything you two just said is something that every single person is capable of doing, right? So like the only thing holding people back is themselves at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, of course, you know, like if you're good looking, you'll probably have better luck getting backroom access. It's just like a real thing. But that doesn't stop you from asking, you know, and if you're doing something like Steve, like I feel like eBay to Amazon is like truly just like numbers and grinding behind a screen, you know, whereas like the way I did books was like a little bit of like networking and finagling.
I'm not
the way
good
you do
enough to do thrift stores and stuff anymore. Once I went bald and no one wants to give me any deals.
You're banned from all the stores.
It's crazy just thinking about it overall, you know, how long all of us have taken to build these businesses the way we have. We all have three completely different business models, but we all make a decent amount of money. And I don't think you even really need to like be making, you know, like Steve makes a shit ton more money than me. But, you know, for me, I can live comfortable with the money I make because what Romer was talking about earlier, like with your net worth, like I paid off all my debt, right? I did the Dave Ramsey plan many, many years ago. So yeah, I'm not making the crazy big numbers, but I still can put money away for retirement, save, keep saving for a down payment for a house, and live comfortably. And I'm not pushing crazy numbers out there in the universe, right? Like probably bringing home across everything, YouTube, maybe like 10K a month in actual money. But if I compare that to my CVS job, where I was getting paid $1,100 every 2 weeks, basically $2,400 a month, like shit, I just 4x my lifestyle, and I don't have the bills or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all perspective. I like to think of like back when I lived in my car or like didn't have anything. Now, of course, like I live in America. So like in my eyes, I always had everything. Like I always had running water. I always had a shower. You know, even when I lived in my car, it was voluntary. It wasn't like I was forced there. But like if I can hold that perspective of like, oh, like I was okay with like not much at all, then no matter how much money I'm making or losing each month, it's like, oh, like I can survive. I'm good.
When you get the mobile app for go-to listers so people can list on their phone?
We're thinking it's going to be done by Miami. I bet we'll have it launched by then, which will be April 30th, May 1st. So we're going to have a booth at Miami Sellers Conference, and we'll have a phone there. And all you guys will have it too, because we'll email you by then. But you just take your phone, you'll scan an item, you'll be able to list it directly from your phone. And that's what we've been working hard on. the big reason why we started working on this is because when all the FBA changes were made, you guys know how like it takes forever for SKUs to be created. Like when you scan an item, it takes up to like sometimes hours. The idea is like if you mobile list it, if you're making batches via mobile, then by the time you go home and sit in front of the computer, you can just click print all labels. So you can scan them on the go, add them to the batch, and then when you get home, boom, labels are ready to be created.
With that being said, it's kind of cool to see like the improvements you guys are going to continue to make to the software, and I think mobile listing is a huge benefit. And my recent experience, usually only gotta let your batch sit now for like half an hour, and your errors are going to be your errors, and they'll take everything else. So it's not even the overnight game no more. So just a heads up out there for everybody using GoToLister.
I'm not going to mention any names, Avery, but you're going to know who I'm talking about. There's another listing software that everybody used to use for selling books. You know who I'm talking about. I don't know. You guys are both in Reselling Freedom. There was a person in there today saying, I don't know if you saw that post today where what were they saying exactly? Something about they were reaching out to support. They were something was going on. Support doesn't respond. Their website doesn't work. Their shipments don't work.
Yeah, they went downhill.
This is why we're going to take over the universe on GoToLister, because you got the 24/7 support. You got people that are actually out there doing in the business, in the trenches, day in, day out. You can directly reach out to the dude that made the damn software. You could be here right now and ask him any question on the face of the universe about his software, and you're going to get a straight answer. This is why that this software is going to just blow everything else out of the way. It already is. So it's just a matter of time before nobody even messes with the other ones.
Yep. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I say it's unfortunate to see. I never even wish like the downfall of like my competitors. Like I want to beat them fair and square, but it's pretty bad over there.
You got to try, dude. I mean, if you don't put in effort, you can't expect to just have this software that has no support or updates for however long to just continue to have people sign up for something like that's just crazy. Yeah. That doesn't work in anything.
Yeah. I sneak into their Facebook groups and I see like the conversations going on in there. It ain't good. Any tips for a bookseller living in a remote area, a few thrift stores? Replen catcher. Steve, you want to tell them a little bit about eBay to Amazon?
Well, I'll be honest. I hate like promoting my software. If people ask about it, they can. But I'll say this in general. So I do have a software. It's called Replen Catcher that allows you to essentially find deals that you can flip from eBay to Amazon. But I'm not going to promote it. What I'll say to you, last stop, is if you're having a tough time finding books because you're in a remote area, just keep in mind you can source books many different ways. On eBay, you could source books on Amazon. Another great software is BookMine. That's another great software. Also, if you don't want to pay for like a subscription, Keepa Deals, Keepa Alerts. I mean, that is a subscription, but it's only $20 a month. You could set up alerts for different books and whatnot. But that's called online arbitrage. So, the good thing about going to thrift stores, library sales, kind of like what Mike has relationships and stuff, is you can get books dirt cheap. Like I'm probably paying 10 to 30 times more money for my DVDs than Mike is, right? So like before, Mike was like, oh, well, Steve, you're doing all these sales, but you know what I was thinking of myself? I have so much more risk. I have to spend so much more money. Like it might look nice looking at all my orange bars, but I have a lot more risk. You're probably spending 100 times less money in your business. So if you ever wanted to shut it down or if something went wrong in your business, Mike, you'd be out way less than me. So just to look at both sides of the coin. But there's plenty of deals you could source online. Last year, I sold almost 6,500 items. All the items I bought was off of eBay using Replen Catcher. I flip mostly DVDs, electronics, tools, board games, CDs. I don't flip a lot of books right now because I'm using a prep center and I'm mostly focused on new. But there's so many deals online. You're just going to have to spend more money. That's the downside.
What's your business like? I guess I know we talked like a month or two ago and you said you're not buying much. Have you started buying more recently?
No, I'm buying right now. I stopped buying in December because usually, having a prep center and then dealing with FBA, a lot of times I'm spending $30,000, $40,000 a month on inventory. So like for me, I don't want to have all that stuff not hit the warehouses in time when everything was so slow. So I decided not to buy anything in December. So my sales were kind of slow in January and February. And with all the Section 3s and the craziness, like when all these things start to pop off, sometimes I get a little shy, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of slowed down my buy-in, but I've picked it back up. I think I've spent like $30,000 or so in the last month. I mean, my sales are down probably 30% this year compared to last year.
You saying that made me just look at the S&P 500. You've been like, sometimes I get a little shy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I get a little shy. I mean,
dude, have you seen it today or this week?
Listen, we're not going to lose until we sell. We ain't selling until we're retired. So we're all right, boys. We'll be fine.
Yeah, we're good. If you look at the long, it's just crazy that like a few policy changes. I mean, the policy changes are crazy, but
I mean, think about it. How many people quit when this buy box thing happened? Let's be real, right? Like, how many people just quit over something that lasted 2.5 weeks, right? Like, and they never even gave it a shot to even see the business through. Like, it was just a snap decision because
I think people are looking for an excuse sometimes.
For
they
sure.
Just want out. And like, I always find it ridiculous when people are like, "Oh, there's no money to be made on Amazon," and I'm like, I just know, like, I'm making so much money on Amazon. I know other people making so much money, and I'm like, there's people making money on Amazon. Like, why are you saying this? Like, you just want an excuse. You don't want to be blamed. You don't want to blame yourself for not doing the hard work or for being smart enough to figure it out. If you work hard enough, you'll be smart enough, like if you just keep trying, but you're going to look like an idiot for a long time figuring it out. Like, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be really difficult, but you can figure it out, And so I think that's why people do it. I think people try. And then, like buy box issue or API, I got to get out. Like, not too hard, COVID, like they just make an excuse and leave. But they probably wanted to quit in the first place anyway.
Also, one thing I want to mention, Avery, is sometimes people give up too soon without finding like the right model for them. Kind of like dating, you could date 10 people and it's like every single one is like terrible. And you're like, wow, I'm like going to be lonely and single my whole entire life. But then you find that one person and you're like, holy crap, right? The same could be with like thrifting and library sales and garage sales. Maybe all of a sudden you come across like, I don't know, like backroom access or eBay to Amazon or library sales. Like you find some little tiny niche and you just drill into it and you're like, everyone else thinks you're lucky, but it's like you kissed enough frogs, you found your way. That's how it is in business a lot. You have to find, dude, there could be something that Mike is doing and it works and he's got a blueprint and a system and I follow it and I fail because of my personality or my demographic, or I'm just a little baby when it comes to it. Like I'm just not built for it.
You shouldn't enjoy doing it. That's a big thing. I think if you just don't enjoy it, other people are going to work so much harder than you. Like you don't have to enjoy every second of it, but if there's a few things like you really get off on and you really find like this is really fucking cool, and you can pick between a business model that has that feeling of like, oh my gosh, this is really cool versus like you don't have that feeling, you should go after the one where you have that feeling.
Yeah, it's funny because now when I talk about like when I do like my trigger sets or like any of my walkthrough videos, like I make it a purpose to tell everybody like don't just copy and paste what I do because everybody's business here is different. We can be doing the same business model, selling the same stuff, but what your buy cost is different than mine. What your shipping cost is different than mine. There's so many factors that go into it. And I think, I guess a lot of it is unfortunately, thanks to people like us who put the information out there. So a new person comes along and just sees the video and just copies and pastes. And like what Steve said, like you think you're going to get the same results, but do you have 100 thrift stores around you? Do you have the record stores? Do you have the pawn shops? Like there's so many different variables that go into building this business. And that's why it's important. Like this guy said, you live in the middle of nowhere, then, hey, you already got all the stuff you already sold. You literally have your own replens list. So you got it all laid out right there for you. If I ever decided to move to the middle of nowhere, I'm just going to go look at my Amazon sales and filter it to the most expensive 1,000 items I sold, and I'm dragging and dropping, and I'm never leaving the house again. Although I know Steve leaves the house every once in a while.
Every now and then. Got to get a little bit of sun, vitamin D.
I get some vitamin D. I don't really sell books anymore, but I'm curious if the new placement costs are going to make it difficult. So for years, people have been saying, oh, there's more fees. It's over. Back in 2018, people were saying it. All books are selling books on Amazon is dead, like, which is laughable if you think back in 2018, because back then you could sell $8 books and make a lot of money. And I'm sure people were saying it in 2015 and 20, every year people say it and it's the same answer. It's just like raise your average sales price. stop selling the cheaper books. Like, just do the math. 20% of your inventory is going to yield 80% of your profits, and it's a higher priced inventory. If you look at people's inventory, 20%, generally, this is a Pareto principle, 20% of their inventory is going to yield 80% of their profit, and it's all of the higher price stuff. So you're not really missing out too much on letting go of that low-dollar books.
I wonder if that's true for Mike's business model. Would you say that 20% of your inventory makes 80%? I feel like for you, it would be more even because you're doing a lot of,
No, mine, I just changed my repricing strategy. Like, I would probably say it's probably a little bit higher than that. I probably sell, believe it or not, 90% of my inventory I send at one point or another. It might even be higher than that. Just how aggressive I reprice before it gets destroyed at 12 months. So for me, it is a little bit higher, but I will say this, in the realm of books, like, books are 20 to 25, maybe 30% of the inventory I have sitting on Amazon, and I got 5,500 units sitting there. So it's just been a natural transition. But all the stuff you can account for, right? Because we got the software. So like I tell everybody, do 50 cents per pound for FBA, and then your placement fees are under 22 cents a piece. So just set your buy cost to 22 cents. That covers that nonsense. And then all you have to do is a quick mental math when you're scanning in the store. If the books are $1 or $2, you got everything covered.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be curious doing an analysis. I think sometimes people don't even realize, like, the 20/80 rule. It's like back to like knowing your numbers. Sometimes you don't even want to look at the 20/80 rule because you want to be thinking 100% of your efforts are giving you 100% of your results. But even in my business now, like my wholesale business, I guarantee you it's like 20, 30, 10% of my ASINs are probably bringing in, when it comes to net profit, 80%. So
let's let me ask you guys a topic if I could.
yeah.
What are some challenges you guys are going through in your business? Maybe that because how sometimes people feel like they're alone. They're going through challenges in their business, and they're like, man, they watch these people on YouTube, and they're like, oh, they've got it all perfect. There's nothing wrong. There's no issues going on. Maybe we can go around and share maybe a challenge or something that you have faced recently in your business, or maybe overcame it already, or going through it.
You want to go first? Go first.
When it comes to like my wholesale business, I feel like I learned a lot last year, and now I know what opportunities in front of me. And for me, it's like managing my cash flow, not overpaying for inventory, like not fronting like 30,000 and waiting a few months because lead time sucks. It's with my suppliers who are good, it's just running up the spend like a crazy amount, like placing these huge orders, and I'm doing them on like the basis of when I get the inventory, I pay. So I'm actually like spending way more than I have. And then once I get the inventory, it's such good inventory that I'll find the money, or by then, like if I know I get tracking numbers, I'll start saving up. Like it's that kind of situation. It's very weird. But it's a huge opportunity. So for me, it's just kind of been like balancing that and managing that. Repricing, I've kind of dialed in. It's I used to try to get every repricer. We tried different softwares out there. It doesn't really matter which ones. So I won't even mention them because we don't even use them anymore. It's just come down to like, I know this ASIN should sell at this price. And so eventually it will. And I just set the price and kind of forget it. And then sometimes I do have to like tank the prices and like lower, but repricing is kind of I got a rhythm for it now. Like I just go through on GoToLister and like literally hover over each one. Super easy to reprice from the GoToLister inventory page. Like you literally just scroll down, you get to see the keep a preview. You can click the FBA offer, and every once in a while I dig into like the keep up, but usually just go through real quick, reprice, and then just staying in touch with all my suppliers. Like I've just been really messaging them all and making sure we got good relationships, even the ones I don't buy a whole lot from, and still just looking for new suppliers all the time. Staying in touch with all my friends that sell similar items. And then, that's kind of been it for my Amazon business. And then I just working on promoting Miami Sellers Conference, not as heavy as I have in previous years because my focus is more like GoToLister right now and my Amazon business, but that's exciting coming up. We'll have over 100 people down there. 120, 150 probably is what we'll end up at. So I feel like we got that dialed into. That's a system. You know, we just pump the content. We tell the speakers to promote, blah, blah, blah. And then in terms of content on YouTube and my personal brand and growing go-to lister, I'm really pumped for this year. I mean, like, I feel like we kind of know what needs to be done. It's just create high quality videos, teach people how to sell on Amazon, do what we're doing right now, and just give the people what they want. Bring Mike on the YouTube channel, bring Steve on the YouTube channel, I like George a lot, bringing Geo on. Just tell people how to pack items in boxes and make more money. Like, that's literally it, you know, and just like keep cranking away at that. No matter how boring it gets, just like put that message out there, because most people don't even know you can make money doing this. So it's important that we keep grinding that way. So that's kind of been what I've been focusing on this year.
Awesome. What about you, Mike?
My challenge is, now that I decided to work a little bit harder this year, that means I have to drive further. And maybe my challenge, now that I think about it, is maybe I overvalue my time, right? It's almost the complete opposite of what most resellers do. Like, my time is important to me, right? At the end of the day, it's all we got. So now I'm going further. Instead of driving an hour, I'm driving 2 hours one way. And it sucks. Like, I'm going to be straight up with you. Like you said, or, you know, like, so what happens here when you're driving 2 hours, right? You listen to podcasts, you listen to whatever. And I think to myself, well, hey, Steve's just chilling like a villain right now, probably at home in the nice air conditioned, the nice heated room. It's a lot of like gut checks when it comes to being in the Amazon community and selling books, because it's a grind compared to other business models. And I think a lot of people don't really, you know, see the showing the hard work that goes into it's not attractive in any way, shape, or form for YouTube, right? Like, I could record 10 videos in my car just driving one way, but it's like, what's the point at the end of the day? So for me, it's kind of just staying in my lane and not being distracted by other business models. Now, if it ever came to the point like where I decided to move further out and I decided not to do media anymore, I'm confident I could pivot my business. But then if I'm confident I can pivot my business and I have the cash flow now, right? So the response most people would say is, well, why not just start doing it now, right? Like, I got a guy that has one-on-ones with me, and he does multi 7 figures. And I didn't even know, I think he just likes me as a person. We just shoot the shit every month. But like, I could just literally adapt his business model and be, you know, close to what he's doing over time. So like, you second guess yourself, I guess. That's my challenge, is just staying in my lane, doing what I'm doing. I've grown my business now to, you know, I'll be crossing 20K probably in the past 30 days by the end of this month. So like, my business is rocking and rolling, but it's still always, you know, I see them numbers, 700K, you know, I don't care what the margins are, you know, you're still making more than me at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, I think that's really important. Knowing what you value and staying away from the shiny object syndrome. I used to deal with that a lot on my channel. I used to document trying new things, and I had a lot of success, but there were times where I drove myself absolutely insane trying to do a million things and comparing yourself to other people. And yeah, man, I commend you. I think it's really smart for you to know what you like, what you enjoy, what you're good at, what's your lane. And sometimes, you know, as men, we feel like we can't choose our lane. Like, we got to beat everybody. But sometimes, I don't know, the older I get, it's like the less I care about what other people are doing, the success they're having. But yeah, it's interesting. One of the challenges I've been dealing with, and hopefully this doesn't come off the wrong way, but it is true, Mike. Like, I'm not even kidding. I almost feel like I've gotten soft to an extent because I've outsourced my business so much to the point where, like, you ever watch Seinfeld? You ever watch, there was the episode where George Costanza and Jerry Seinfeld, they were looking to get a TV show, and they were talking to like NBC about what's the show about? And George is like, the show is about nothing. Like, well, what do you do in the show? We do nothing. And it's like, when I think of my business, it's like, I literally do nothing. Like, I don't do anything because I've outsourced it so much. But the problem is, and the challenge I'm going through is, when you work with other people and you have employees, humans are going to be humans. Slowly, they're going to become complacent. If you don't have systems in place to like check up on them, quality control, which I do, but over time, if you neglect it, people start to cut corners and stuff. So I noticed like some of my margins have been lower. There's been more stranded inventory. There's been products getting some IP complaints, some counterfeits. So those are some of the challenges I'm going through. So right now I'm like retraining my team with a lot of things, a lot of foundational stuff. So it's just a lesson learned, you know, sometimes you outsource your whole business, but if you don't stay on top of it, you can get burned. So I'm okay now, but just a challenge.
Yeah. I think you're at the phase where I think like initially when you built your eBay to Amazon business, you were so pumped about it because like you were like truly turning a profit, but you were like cash flow negative. Like you weren't taking any money out for a long time, I remember. And ironically, like that's when like you were the hypest about it on social media and like selling like the opportunity. And then you just build this business that's cranking out 10, 15K, whatever profit a month, probably a little bit less after December, but like you're crushing it. And it's so boring now that like, I think like you like to make the kind of content where you're going out and like you got boxes coming into your house. And like now that it's like you don't see anything, you're just like, all right, like what's the next thing I can do? Like let's like this is just me observing you. Like you're like, okay, like
yeah, let's burn this into the ground.
In section 3s, like let's go to Walmart now. Like you have this Amazon business cranking out like 15K profit a month, and you're like Walmart.
Yeah,
you know, like you just like you're just looking for like some mental stimulation. But yeah.
My only mental stimulation I get now is just dealing with the YouTube comments asking, well, you know, what if Amazon asks for an invoice? It's like, guys, I've been doing this for almost 5 years, 30,000 products later. You could take those invoices and you could put them under your pillow at nighttime because.
Oh, speaking of that, I just want to put that out there. Me and Steve have a really good Amazon account specialist, and she's been extremely active and responsive. And you guys should all join the group like ASTG or whatever it's called, like account recovery, account deactivation. It's a group of 75,000 Amazon sellers, and it keeps you up to speed with what's going on. And the way Amazon works is like they go through different phases, and like they go through phases of section 3s. They go through phases of like authenticity. They go through phases of like letting your account get reactivated. Like there's waves of like what works. And lately, like eBay invoices, thrift store invoices have been working for section 3s as long as there's a matching bank statement. So if you guys ever go through that, if you guys ever have a section 3, reach out to me, reach out to Steve, and we can connect you and just make sure you're doing everything properly. But I would say like,
I'm not getting paid for this either, just so you know. I'm not affiliated.
Yeah, we're not getting paid at all. We just want the community to survive and thrive. But like, it's just a very delicate thing. Like you get a section 3, Amazon's like, where'd you get the stuff? And then somebody freaks out and they just do something wrong, or they even lie on accident, not even on accident. They lie on purpose to Amazon to look more legit. And then they're actually screwed because now they've truly lied. Whereas like there's a way to do it. It's like if you get a section 3 and you got a Goodwill invoice, like it works. You just have to be consistent. There has to be the matching bank statement. So if you ever get in that situation, DM us. I wanted to put that out there.
Yes, sir.
Let's start catching up on some of these questions. We got an old one here from Austin. What's the max number of a seller on a book do you do? I never looked at seller count. I'm going to be the lowest price when I scan my item in a thrift store. It's going off the lowest FBA price. I don't care if there's 5 million people selling it. If I can be the lowest price and make my money, seller count I've never even bothered with it.
Got 100 people in the house. Let's see here.
Yeah, we're way behind, dude. You're gonna have to scroll all the way up.
Who's buying a lot of French and English books? I don't know about French books, but people are buying English books. How's it going? Book Kings, what up, Matt? Anything in the works go to list for being able to report what is sold by source? Yes, we're gonna release net profit. I keep saying soon. We got the mobile listing coming.
Come on, let's go already, dude.
Once we release that net profit, there's gonna be source. And we'll do by ASIN, we'll do by source, we'll do by, you'll be able to filter a few different ways, but definitely by source. What is the first step to becoming a serious FBA seller after all the startup steps? I'm about to make 1K in monthly sales selling used books. I'm wondering how I can truly level that up. We'll just keep doing more of what you've been doing. How'd you get to 1K? How many hours are you putting in now? How can you squeeze, maybe you're sourcing a few days a week. How can you squeeze that sourcing time into like one day and then do 2 of those days? So you're like, now you're sourcing, 3X, 4X what you used to. That would be my advice, would just be like double down on what's working, find more sources, look at every thrift store 50 to 100 miles, if not more radius of you, depending on where you're at. If you're spoiled like Mike is, you're in a big city, you don't have to go that far. But a lot of people in smaller towns, like George, who comes on the show, he says he'll drive like hours in the morning. He'll wake up. That man wakes up. I didn't realize this. He wakes up like at 3:30, 4 in the morning and just drives a couple hours, and then just goes and like murders these small towns down in Louisiana or the other state, Alabama, I guess, if he's driving that far.
And if you have the capital too, start doing some eBay to Amazon flips. Like I've been having a lot of people join my group lately, and they don't want to do the electronics and tools and things that I do, but they get in with DVDs. DVDs is one of the best items you can flip from eBay to Amazon. It is absolutely insane.
Are you gated in Universal, Steve?
I'm not. No, okay. I'm not. I
was just curious.
My mom got gated though.
I didn't. It seems to be kind of hit or miss. A lot of people in my group got it, and a lot of us didn't.
Yeah. So,
Avery, do you do FBM starting in November holiday season? My prep center luckily does FBM, so I do like to mix it in if it makes sense. During Q4, my mentality is like, let's load up as much inventory as possible. I go through like mid-November. I'll send as much FBA because what happens is people like the Christmas sales come in and then everyone's out of stock and then FBA is just hammered with too many shipments. So January is low key like the last month or I guess the first month of Q1 is like almost as good for us as the last month of Q4 because everyone's out of stock on stuff. So that's kind of my mentality, but I wouldn't overcomplicate it. Like starting out, if you're not doing a whole bunch in sales anyway, then no need to add a bunch of complexity. Single has its perks. I can have hairy legs and cereal for supper. How can we get the app when it's released at the end of the month? Pricing. The pricing is going to be the same, and we'll just email you that we have mobile listing. What do you guys think about NeuroPrice? I personally like it. I've had a few issues, but it's the cheapest. Yeah, I personally like it. I'm sure he was freaking out when the buy box debacle was happening because that's like the whole software, like what it does is it allows you to price an FBA off for 4, 3, 2, 1, and it's manual repricing. It's done via Seller Central, but I like it. We got Caleb Roth in the house. What's good? I'm about to see him in 2 days.
Has he come out from being a hermit? Last thing I seen on Instagram was that he was going into hiding for some.
Yeah, he's going into hiding, but he's going to be speaking at Miami Sellers Conference, so he'll officially be emerging. You're
going to see him for the first time out of the wild, and his beard's going to be like down to his belly.
His hair was getting pretty long for a while, and then he cut it at Taylor's bachelor party. He got a haircut, and I was like, "Are you getting back into business?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, how'd you know? And I was like, "You cut your hair." Mike looking good. Mike looks like he lost some weight. Have you lost weight, do you say?
60 pounds.
That's unbelievable.
No, I mean, like, I know you've lost weight, but like since like the last few episodes, you haven't lost.
I've just been maintaining now.
Yeah. Larry been slacking. Larry's still asking API questions. He ain't been paying attention.
Hey, API is Amazon's back end, all right?
He's too happy with his new girlfriend. I've been seeing him on Facebook. Avery looking cute today. Appreciate that. A lot of new books are now at 35 to 65% discounted, and it's really messing with our used book prices and tank prices. Any advice?
How would you know that it's even tanked? I mean, I'm not going in my inventory and clicking on these lists to see what's going on. I mean, and unless they have a shit ton of copies, they're going to sell out eventually, right? There's always, no matter what business model, you're always going to have Bozo the Clown that hops on the listing and might have 10 copies and sells it to make 1 penny. And you can just wait in line and just, I don't dig that deep into my business when it comes to, it was like when the whole buy box thing happened and people were like, go check your listings. I'm like, it's something we can't control. So why am I going to go in and get bent out of shape and be like pissed off all day? Like, I checked and all my books are not getting the buy box. I'm like, why am I going to waste my time with something I can't really control at the end of the day? I kind of have the same opinion on this. Like, how do you know that 35 or 35% or 65% are discounted? Like, you know how long it would take me to click through 35% of my inventory to see that they're discounted? I'd be here all night.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little thing you don't got to worry about.
Mm-hmm. I'm having a hard time finding books. What should I do, Mike?
You're going to library book sales. You're not finding books. I find that hard to believe. The last one I was at, I got sick. I didn't even thrift all last week because one of these booksellers got me sick. I was like 35th in line. All right. I showed up 30 minutes early. I hate book sales. I didn't even start messing around until this year that I decided to make a little bit more money. It's like 35th in line. That's not included the family members that show up right before the doors open. I left with 2 IKEA bags and I was only in there for like 40 minutes and it wasn't a huge sale. It's not like it was 100K books. It was probably like 50,000 books. Don't go in and scan what everybody else wants. I go to library sale, I'm going right to self-help. Let all the nerds run for history and all that. Self-help, I guarantee you, is going to have a higher sell-through. You're going to find a lot in there, and nobody's even going to bother with you. And another benefit is all these booksellers don't sell DVDs. Walk into a library book sale, and they have DVDs. No, you'll be there by yourself, and you'll make 10 times what the booksellers will, and you'll have no competition. You can chill. You can hang out. You can set your bags anywhere you want. I promise you, it's literally nobody even goes to the DVDs. And the library book sales that have disc media, they usually give it away for nothing, and it's usually quality stuff.
Dude, I got to jump in with that. I've seen that trend over the years, man. Booksellers, they ignore DVDs. I don't know if it's because they're gated and they never take the time to go to christianbook.com, which, by the way, can new sellers still get ungated with DVDs with 10, or are they requiring 100 now?
I think it's still just 10 for the category, but a lot of new sellers, believe it or not, are getting auto ungated in DVDs now. After they have a sell through with books, they go to apply and they'll just ungate them in DVDs right away.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, DVDs sell faster than books.
Hell yeah.
In my opinion. And people think DVDs are the slowest, silliest category to flip. And it's like, I will go to the DVD section before the book section all day, any day. I mean, outside of maybe textbooks, which I don't even mess with those things anymore just because they're so risky.
We got ROI FBM saying he's coming to Miami. Got to give a shout out real
quick. Oh, baby.
Already, go to MiamiSellersConference.com. Get your tickets. Prices are going up soon.
Yeah, we got Josh Graff in the house, man. Got to give a shout out to Josh.
Heck yeah, where's he at? I'm way up in the. I'm just gonna stay where I'm at in these comments.
Yeah, when we get a fixed price option for pricing strategies on GoTo.
If you keep asking, we're gonna do it. Especially
all right,
Mike. If you, I would. Dom really respects your opinion on things. He wants more of your opinion. He said so. I would just tell him. And if it comes from you, if it comes from me, it's just another feature.
Oh yeah, he ignores us now. So if Mike has something to say, we love that.
Tag him on the Facebook group. That'd be super easy for him to do. I know it's something he could bang out when he goes. I always say he's got poop task when he goes to take a bathroom break and takes a poop. He can bang something out. But I know it's not that easy to code, but in my head, it's like, okay, just do this. You know, when you have
that's what we all think. We're just like, oh, fix it right away. Why ain't it working? And he's like, oh, it's not that easy.
Yeah, some of the issues you think are like really complex. You're like, all right, we need this 2-week block, Dom. Like, you're gonna work on this. He's like, bro, I can finish that in 5 minutes. And then something else, you're like, dude, just change this. It's a fucking button. And he's like, that's gonna take a whole week.
It's so true. It's so true. Now that I'm in software as well, it's like shocking. Like, I'm always asking people for feedback, and they'll request something, and like some of these things could take a second. Other times it's like, it would take 3 months to do that, and it's like the littlest thing.
Yeah. Dom just got a shout out.
Hey.
Why does GoToLister app send me double notifications? Just message us. We can maybe help you out with that. Let's see.
Why do you have it on for notifications? You need that dopamine that bad? I ain't got that thing turned on. I'll be going off all day long.
Yeah, I think once your sales get to a certain point, it gets annoying.
Yeah, all your tank sales, Mike, are going to be selling.
I'm single-handedly destroying the media market on Amazon. That's been my goal since day one.
Here's another question. Kelly's saying, for a brand new ambitious seller, what's my to-do list?
Well, are you actually signed up? Do you actually have an account? Do you have your GoToLister set up, your tools, supplies, your scanner? Are you ready to rock and roll? That would be question number one. Because then obviously number two is go hit the pavement and go run, go source. I mean,
yeah. I mean, really, it's just like, and this is like the phase of suck you have to get through, but it's like you have to just map out every library, every thrift store around you and just go hit them and just realize, like, just be mentally prepared to not get shit at your first few stores. Number one, because you probably scan too slow. You don't know what to look for. Number two, you might just have like beginner's unluck where you go out and like that happened to me where I almost quit. I wouldn't have kept going if I didn't make money from textbooks in college. Like that's like why I kept going. Like I knew I made money on textbooks. So I knew that, and I saw fucking Reezy resells on YouTube doing this. I'm like, this thing is a scam. Like I'm in this store right now. I'm not finding anything. And then eventually I found out how it works. So like you just have to like put the reps in, scan a few thousand books, and just do that by mapping out every thrift store, every library. Go to the booksalefinder.com. Speaking of what we were talking about earlier, like, you know, like going to a gym and seeing other people working out. When you go to a library sale, if you go to booksalefinder.com and go to one of those library sales, show up to the sale early, pay for the membership, you're going to see everyone else just getting after it. And your brain's going to be like, holy shit. Like, it's like, it's going to activate your, like the competitive side of your brain and what's possible. Some people get overwhelmed, like Steve at library sales.
It's too much anxiety for me. I can't too overwhelming, too many things, too much competition.
It can be stressful. I freaked out at my first library sale in Washington, and I was going through another lady's cart, and I didn't realize that it was her cart, and I'm scanning all the books. I'm like, all these are good. All these are good. I stole like all the books from her cart. And then I realized it about halfway walking down the aisle that I stole her books. And I felt so bad that I went back and gave her all of her books and then my books too. So now I'm back to like square nothing. I don't have anything. And she's freaking out. She like looked like I just stole her baby or something.
I honestly don't like going to the library sales or the Goodwill bins, because I hate to say it, and I know some of you guys are probably watching, but there's just a lot of shitty vultures out there. And it's like very nasty people. They're so overly competitive. Like I've had people cuss me out, swear, get in your face, ripping things out of your hand. I don't know if anyone else.
They turn into like kid. Like no offense, but like, dude, especially in the Northeast. Like I've been all over the country, but something about like the closer you get to big cities, people just don't give a fuck anymore.
Dude, I just feel bad for these people, honestly. Like I'm thinking to myself, we got here 3 hours early. You dragged your mom, your kids, everybody in the family. You make them get a scanner to go scan. They don't want to be here. Like, I feel bad for these people because you're so reliant on like this one sale. And I showed up 15 minutes, 20 minutes before. And like, if you being here 3 hours, is it worth you actually getting to a certain table way before me? I'll argue no every single time, because there's enough profit in every category that's in the library for everybody to make money. I honestly feel bad when I go to these sales and I see these crazy ass people running around. Like, guys, it's not that serious. Like, if we all left here, we could go to anywhere around us, any library, any thrift store. This shit is everywhere. So why are we sitting here fighting over this like clowns? Like, I have the, what is it? Not the scarcity mindset, the abundance mindset. It's everywhere. So why do we got to get nasty? But you're right, Steve. Like, these people book sales are the worst. That's why I never went to them before this year. But now I just go and I kind of laugh about it. And I know some of these people probably recognize me, right? And they're probably like, oh, look, these book guys, 30th in line. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't even care. Like, I know I'm going to get mine. It ain't that serious. I'm glad you were here 5 hours before it started.
How many times do you get recognized in public now?
I've only been recognized like probably like 3 or 4 times, honestly. So I'm still, I'm not that big yet, and I don't mind it. I mean, I did go thrifting with the one guy that recognized me. I had 2 people that are part of my group. That one had backroom access at a Goodwill, and then she came on the call the next week and said, Mike, you're not going to believe it. Somebody else is in the back room of my Goodwills now, and he's actually a part of my group too. So they literally didn't know each other, and somehow they wound up in the same back rooms at the Goodwills.
Hey, what happens in the back room stays in the back room.
And they shared it. It's not like they were fighting each other over it. The one was like, hey, I'll go on Mondays and Thursdays, and I'll go on Tuesdays and Fridays. And it all worked out in the end. Yeah, book sales are crazy, but there's enough there for the taking. And if you do disc media, look, Steve said it 100%. These booksellers are so scared to do anything but their little wristbands with their phones and the books. That's all there is to it. You'll never see any of them. And if you do, then they shouldn't be scumbags because they came across my channel, because I'll tell you not to sell books, go sell DVDs and CDs.
Honestly, when I probably sound like a douchebag when I say this, but when I go to the thrift store now and it's like, I see these people, they'll sit there all day long. They're there for 8-9 hours all day long. They're fighting. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, and I know I'm not anything special, but I think to myself, I literally have a secret way that I can source an unlimited amount of inventory from eBay. Now, granted, I know I'm spending a lot more money and there's a lot more risk. So it's important to say that. It's not like I'm buying items for $1 on eBay and selling them for 50. But I'm like, these guys have no idea. But I think the truth is, tell me if I'm wrong. I think 80% of these people that are sitting at the thrift store all day long, I don't think they have more than $500 in their bank account. And that's not a shot at them, but I think a lot of these people are struggling, and I think they have a poverty mindset. And it's like, because I see how they behave at the thrift store. It's like, there's no way you've got 20 grand in your bank account when you act like this. It's impossible.
But we're resellers, Steve. Like, we have the highest margins in the universe of any business model ever. So even if you're small time, you should have some type of I'm in the same boat as you. I don't understand how we as resellers, our bank accounts aren't going up every month, even if we're just making $1,000. Like, we're paying, we're getting 10x, 50x on some of these items, right? So like, how don't we have money at the end of the day, right? It's just lifestyle creep, and I guess you don't really, personal finance is not a strong suit, but I wasn't good with personal finance either. So that's really not an excuse. You don't got to make a lot of money to get ahead anymore. And it seems like everybody thinks you got to be bringing in a 6-figure positive income into your bank account to get ahead. And I 100%, and you don't got to be making that much. You just got to manage your finances, give every dollar somewhere to go. And you don't got to be doing crazy numbers to get ahead in life. I mean, I got an '08 Ultimate. I paid for it in cash. Like, I'm not going to go just buy a new car. Oh, dude, why didn't you get a truck? Well, I mean, how many bulk pickups am I doing a month, right? Like, just give me the ultimate. I'm paying in cash. I'm out the door. No car payment ever again. It's a little shit like that, but you're right. Like,
I could see Mike in a Tesla.
Never going to happen. My car has to be at least 10 years old. That's the one requirement I have.
Mike, you often, on your YouTube videos for members, you often buy a DVD, even though the scouting app shows red. What's your criteria for buying those?
Oh, you got a few things. There's no used FBA offers, right? You're probably going to buy that 90% of the time because you basically can control the market as long as the new price is going to be above what you sell it at. So I like to sell a lot of mine at $17.99. You make like $10 after fees. As long as the new price is above that, when you're the only prime offer, you're basically guaranteed to get the buy box anywhere in the universe. So it'll sell actually really quick, even if it's a slow moving one. Other than that, I mean, if there's one person, right, if I see Steve's on the listing and he's got it listed and he's matching the lowest merchant at like $6 or $5, like, you just know that person doesn't know what they're doing. So you still buy it and you just price it up and just wait for them to sell, and then you sell yours.
I will never match the lowest merchant.
You got to try it.
Yeah, criteria-based smart pricing that's been on the list. So we might actually no, we will have this, because once we release our scouting app, you're going to want to set triggers, and you'll be able to toggle triggers and smart pricing. So,
Avery, my friend Julius wants to know, because he's sick and tired of Acceler List. It's driving him insane. He's going to end up with a heart murmur like my cat Harry. Okay, when are you bringing Go-To Lister to Canada? That's the question.
Is Acceler List in Canada?
I don't know. I think Julius said that they have Canada. That's why.
I don't know. You guys got to keep asking. I know I always say that, but
yeah, Mike's
I've probably been asked like 30, 40 times, maybe more. I don't know. Don doesn't see as much as I do, but there's definitely an audience up there. I think it's just something where we need to pause for like a month or two and then like just find out how to code it for Canada. There's just like different, I think API, I don't even know what it is, but there's something.
Dude, I have people ask it to do a Replen catcher, and what my developer said is you literally have to like recode the whole entire software. It's like you have to duplicate it, but maybe, I think.
Yeah, like maybe that's something that we could have like a new dev do, or Mateo. Let's see here. Lots of great estate sales and library sales up here in Northeast past few weeks. Heck yeah. What types of DVDs should I be looking for when sourcing DVDs? Did we answer that one?
It depends on your business model. I mean, I know Mike, he'll go up to 200,000 to 300,000, sometimes more. For me, I'm doing eBay to Amazon. I'm spending $10, $20, $30 a DVD. I'm typically looking for something between like 30 to 100,000 rank, because I want it to move within a month or less. Not to say a 200, 300,000 can't move in less than a month, but for my model, I'm looking like 30 to 80,000. I'll go up to 125 if the ROI and profit's there. But Mike, what's your input when you're spending $1 or $2 or less?
Dude, give us some bolos. I mean, I know you sell the same damn stuff over and over again. Tell us some of them.
Dude, I have thousands. I mean, I could literally open up my account right now and tell you some.
I'll rip them off. You got Barney, you got Rock and Learn, you got the Wiggles, you got anything Acorn, BBC. You're going to be able to see that on the side. Old school MGM, it's got the Lion, the old school MGM DVDs, the snap cases. They're not your normal DVD cases. They're weird cases. They kind of like snap in the front. Other than that, it's really just get out there and scan things, and don't try to be the expert and pick and choose what you scan. I still scan 90% of the stuff in the thrift stores. So, you know, sure, I'll skip Harry Potter and Twilight unless it's new sealed. If it's brand new sealed, I don't care what the title is, the DVD, you better scan it. But yeah, I mean, you're just going to kind of learn as you go, and it's just all about scanning.
Dude, I'm laughing because you're so quick on your feet with like naming them all, because you're out there in the field like looking for them. Whereas like I'm using my software and they just come to me. And if the ROI and profit and rank is there, I just buy it. And you're just like, dude, you're like the chat GPT of DVDs. You just spit it off so quick. I'm looking through my sales, like trying to give an example.
I got declined for a Walmart seller account. Is there still a way to get approved? Do you know about that, Steve?
Yes, I mean there's quite a bit of nuance to it, but you know, the big thing that Walmart is looking for, well, there's two things. Number one, they're looking for you to have experience on other platforms, so they're going to look at your Amazon store, or they're going to look at your eBay store, your Etsy store. They want to only work with sellers who are currently selling and have experience. And then the most common thing is a lot of times people get declined because their information doesn't match up. Like their business is different than their name, or like their name's an address is off, or a bank statement, something similar to Amazon. Those are the two big things right there. Yeah.
One nice thing about Josh says one nice thing about DVDs is it's way easier to get rid of duds. Yeah, they're way people pay cash for DVDs. It's nice. And they're lighter too. I just messed up by Acceleralist. I even told Steve about it this afternoon. Or let's see here.
Support doesn't respond, he said.
Yeah. Apparently, like they're all arguing. So
to borrow Anna.
I would recognize Rake and Profits. You've been on YouTube so long. Yeah, you can't miss that bald head when you're out.
Oh, it's shining.
We got Thrift School in the house. What's good, brother?
Who goes to the same Goodwill? It seems like every other week.
Dustin? Is his name Dustin?
No, it's Jesse, man. Jesse, I'll tell you right now, have you ever been to Mike Red, White, and Blue in Waterbury, Connecticut?
No,
it is not. Dude, it is the craziest, biggest, most psycho thrift store. Like, I feel like there's not a better thrift store in the whole entire country. And a lot of times you'll see Jesse in that thrift store. My buddy Vinny, who runs a full-time eBay business, I mean, it is jackpot city all day long in this thrift store. I mean, absolutely insane. The craziest thrift store in the country. So anyone, Waterbury, Connecticut, Red, White, and Blue, if you go there, yeah, you'll make money. Thank me later.
Steve just destroyed their thrifted models just right here.
Oh, dude, there's already like 200 vultures that sit there all day long. Dude, that was the same place. I hosted a Connecticut thrifting meetup, and I was filming, and Jesse was filming, and this guy was like so angry that we were filming, like he was trying to fight us and attack us. Like those people are like, they need to get a rabies shot before you go into Red, White, and Blue over there.
What up, Bearded King Picker? Does Walmart require ungating too? They do, right?
Yes, they do.
Just think, everything you get ungated in, 95% of people aren't going to spend the money or take the time to get ungated in. So it gives you a whole opportunity to make more money with the item you got ungated in. As people see gates as such a huge like headache. If it at least allows you to have an invoice, then all right, well, if you can make the money back on it, then let's do it, right? Like, but some of them are hard gated. I know that sucks, but you can't control that. But if it's something you have to get ungated in, listen, if you were a brand owner, right? If you're one of these mega brands, would you want me, Steve, and Avery selling used shit from the thrift store under your brand, and your customers are getting stuff from us three random dudes sitting here? Like, no, you got to protect your brands to some degree here. I think it's only going to get harder when it comes to gates and more brands making it. We've seen the quantities go up, right? From 10 to 100, some of them 200, 300. There was that one that was like glitched out. They wanted like 100,000 units.
And regating too, Mike. Coming back, swinging back around saying, all right, you've been ungated, but now we're going to gate you again for whatever reason. Maybe they found out you're using blank invoices, which a lot of people were doing in the past. It's only going to get harder, but that's one of the reasons why to get ungated as much as you can right now. Hope they don't come back and regate you, but yeah. And try to apply to sell items. Like recently with Replen Catcher, our eBay to Amazon software, we just did an Amazon integration, and we have a feature now where if you're gated, you can see if you're restricted, and there's an apply button. You just click it to get ungated. The old software that I used to use, Flipmine, didn't have that. And I used to pass up on so many items that I wouldn't click apply to sell because it wasn't easy. Dude, I've gotten ungated. I'm not even kidding. Auto ungated. Now, granted, I do have a seasoned account, and probably like 500 items in the last couple of weeks. So try to get ungated. A lot of times they won't ask you for an invoice. Of course, if you're a newer seller, you're going to be asked for an invoice more because they don't trust you. But if you've been selling for 6, 12 months, I mean, you know all about this. You're going to win the buy box more. You're going to get more auto ungates. Amazon's going to trust you more. But in the beginning, Amazon's not going to pay you very quickly. They're not going to give you the buy box too much, depending. So it's just part of the struggles and challenges of starting a business. That's why I tell people, if you should start Amazon when you don't need to make money. Like if you need to pay your mortgage. I had someone come to one of my Connecticut thrifting events one time, and she's like, I'm here, Steve. I came like 50 miles because I need to learn how to pay my mortgage this month. And I'm like, I don't think I can help you with that. You need to put in 6 months.
Dude, I did a Reselling Freedom call on that exactly, and it came out to be like with media, I forget what the exact numbers were, but it was like 3 or 4 months before you even made any profit, and that included software, buy costs, everything. So like somebody that starts this out, like I'm not saying it to deter people, but Amazon, it's going to take time for you to start, seeing fruits of your labor.
Dude, I got to give a shout out. You know, it's so funny. My health coach, the one that I hired about 5 months ago, he's in the chat right now. So big shout out to Jazz. This dude.
Hey guys, I'm gonna run. I have to actually go. We're about to go explore some islands, but I'm gonna let you guys keep running it for a while. I'll just leave this open.
All right, have fun. Enjoy yourself.
Yep. See you guys.
Yeah, so big shout out to Jazz. Yeah, he says #1 client. Yeah, so I hired a health coach like 5 months ago, and he's in the comments now. So thanks, Jazz. Appreciate the support.
That's crazy. My health coach is my wife. She's like, hey, it's time for you to get on board. I'm like, all right, I guess so.
You want to know why I hired this guy, which is funny? When I was at my gym, I saw this guy who was walking around. He had a tripod all the time. He was filming all his workouts. Like, he was just like, he stood out. You know what I mean? He was obviously jacked and ripped, but he was filming, doing Instagram, like putting himself out there. And I'm like, I need to figure out who this guy is. And we just started talking and started following him on social media. And next thing you know, I started working with him, and down 25 pounds approximately since November. So yeah, thanks for coming, Jazz. Appreciate it.
Dude, it's crazy, right? When you look at the photos of yourself, and like, especially when they're next to each other, you're like, and honestly, like when it comes to that, like, I didn't think I was like unhealthy or that out of shape when I weighed 231, right? I just thought like I was just a normal person eating normal food. Like I just didn't, it was just normal the way I was.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really know how unhealthy you are until you get healthy. Like you don't really know how bad you feel until you feel good. Like I was talking to my girlfriend today, and I was like, do you remember, like, because my girlfriend, she's lost 40 plus pounds as well. And I was like, babe, do you remember when we used to like lay on the couch and like we had to get up, and like how hard it was? Like it was like you had to roll over, you couldn't do a sit up.
It is a little easier though, right? It's a lot easier, honestly, when your other half is on the journey with you, right? So like you're not the only person. It's like my wife started it before me. So like I couldn't be sitting here eating a family-sized bag of Doritos when she's like counting her calories. So like it's easier when you got somebody else on board, because then you kind of can move away from the temptation a little bit easier.
Absolutely. Julius is asking, Mike, what's the difference between selling books and DVDs versus other products like groceries on Amazon?
Oh man, I mean, it really depends how you want to look at it. Books are cheap, but sell through slow, right? Like if you want to get into groceries and kind of what Steve does, you're focused on sell through. And it's been my focus this whole year. Sell through is all that matters, because we don't get paid until the item sells. It costs us money to buy an item and let it sit at Amazon every single day. Think about it this way. If you got 5,000 items like I do, my average buy cost is right around $1. That's $5,000 that is not in my bank account. That's doing absolutely nothing for me. So when you compare like books and DVDs to other categories are always going to have a much higher sell through. but you got to get your business to a point where you can cash flow that type of business, right? Because you don't want to take on debt in the beginning because you're going to spend more money up front, right? Like Steve can spend more money because he grew his business to a point where he can cash flow and accept the, 40 to 50% margins and spend $30, $40 per item versus us out here at the thrift store. We're spending $1, $2. It's a completely different game. And that's kind of the big thing. Like Steve needs a sell-through because he's put more money up front, but I challenge you in a thrifting model to focus more on sell-through as well. Don't just think, oh, it'll sell eventually. That's not the case.
I don't know if you remember when you used to be able to like sell books for $7, $8 and make a profit. You could have books sit for a couple of years. There would be no consequence, and then they started implementing long-term storage fees. The game has certainly changed now. So yeah, that's definitely some great advice. Oh, this is a great question for you, Mike. Leslie Plessy is asking, do VHS really sell? Should I pass up scanning them?
If it's new sealed, believe it or not, I got lots of people over my Discord that sell VHS almost on a daily basis, new sealed VHS. It's the same with cassettes. Like I've never even had a cassette player, but I mean, you find some 80 hair metals cassettes like Van Halen, Def Leppard, Journey, Kiss, the big ones, and even the 90s rap, like that sells on Amazon, believe it or not. Like if there's any place in the world stuff's going to sell, it's Amazon. And I made it a personal goal because somebody commented on one of my videos the other day, like, scan the VHS. And I said, I'm going to make it my personal goal to find a profitable VHS to send into Amazon and actually sell.
Jesse with Thrift School, he swears by VHS. He loves flipping them, and not even new. He'll flip them used. Like some of these Barneys and stuff actually hold some value. I don't really mess with them because I have to go after higher ticket stuff because I'm buying on eBay, but he swears by them, dude. He says there's money in them.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, there's money in anything if you really niche down and understand where the value is and what you're buying.
Oh, this is a great comment from Brown Frown 22. Blank VHS is bank. Oh yeah, if you get blank VHS new sealed, I have quite a few replens of those that I flip from eBay to Amazon. But if you're at a thrift store, the key is to scan it and try to find the correct listing. A lot of times it's tough to find the listing, but if you can, a lot of times they're money. And if they're not money on Amazon, they're usually money on eBay for sure. Do you flip those at all, Mike? The blank?
I got a funny story about that. I sold one FBM. I used to flip them back when I actually used to be active on eBay as a seller. And those actually do not qualify for media mail, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I learned the hard way on Amazon because I sold one FBM and it's like, this does not qualify for media mail. I went to Google. It's like, yeah, blank media like that for some reason doesn't qualify for media mail.
Hey, we got a question from Jazz asking, it's a good question for you, Mike. What is a day in the life, or what does a day look like in order to drive your business forward? I know you two are pros, so I'm wondering what that looks like at your level. So what does a day look like for you in order to drive your business forward? Is that like hitting the thrift stores and library sales hard, listing, shipping?
Monday, I was out the door probably 8:30. I hit, I think about only eight or nine stores, but I drove over an hour and 15 minutes along the way. So I didn't get back home till around like 7 o'clock that night. So it's not as glorious as even I make it out to be sometimes on YouTube. It's a lot of scanning. I mean, it's all about how many items you can scan. So I just have this little stupid thing on my finger all day and I just scan thousands and thousands. I went to one store today and I actually reset my Scoutly screen today just to see how I would do with this one source. I was there for about a little bit under 2 hours. I scanned 2,327 items. Profit was $1,512, 112 accepts, which is a 5% accept rate. So basically 5 books, CDs, DVDs out of every 100 I actually purchased.
Wow. Interesting. But that's the reality of things, right? You got to put in that work.
It's still not bad. I mean, it's a lot of scans, but $1,500 for 2 hours, right? Like, you sign anybody up for that.
Awesome. Nice. Let's see. Brown Frown is saying light bulbs. Angela is asking, do storage fees start day 1 or day 30, 60, 90? I think it's every month, right?
It's every month, but so you have your normal storage fees, then you have long-term storage fees, which start at 6 months. And then you also get taxed for a long-term storage surcharge. If your inventory doesn't sell, they charge you extra. So if you have slow-moving inventory based on what your sell-through is, they'll charge an extra anywhere between 44 and like $1.88 per cubic foot you have. So that can add up. And then Q4 storage is double what it is the rest of the year. So from October to January, your storage fees literally double overnight just because it's October and it's quarter 4 and they can do what they want because we sell on their platform.
Awesome.
It's crazy. Storage fees can get crazy in quarter 4. I know a lot of people last quarter 4 that got crushed with storage fees. I'm talking in excess of well over $5,000 a month.
That must have been, are those booksellers that are getting hit with that
Yes.
that much quantity? Because I mean, I never, honestly, in my business, I typically don't have any more than 400 to 500 items in my inventory at a time. But I know a lot of booksellers will have 3,000-4,000 in their inventory.
These people had excess of 10,000 books, primarily books.
How many people do you have like joining your group and membership who like their sales are terrible, but they have like 3,000 books and it's like so much junk? Cause I get coaching calls like at least once a month from somebody who they'll have like 2,000 to 3,000 books and they're just like junk. Like,
even if it's, you'd be amazing. The big thing I run into is not so much that it's junk. It's just that they're so afraid to reprice their items down to what the actual value is of the item. Right. Like, I've seen that so often where people are like, well, I don't want to use the software because I don't know, it seems kind of risky. And I'm just like, well, you're never going to make any money unless you have a repricing software on Amazon. I'll die on that hill for the rest of time. You have to reprice aggressively to sell your items, especially in a thrifting model. We are paying $1 stupid dollar for the DVD. Like, let's sell this thing, even if we just get our dollar back out. That's a-okay. We're smarter today than we were 9 months when we sent in this stupid DVD. We'll go buy a much better DVD this time around, I promise you. But for some reason, people feel like there's some kind of emotional connection that like, I know what I got, and I know that this is a $20 DVD. Well, I'm here to tell you that is not the case. On Amazon, it's the lowest price, most likely is going to get you to sale. And sure, you might not get it all. I like to tell people when you scan something, you probably can take 25% off what you see when you scan in a thrift store, and Scoutly or Scout IQ says, you're going to make $10. In actuality, you're probably going to make closer to $7.50.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of a good rule I like to give people is don't take that number you see in the store as what you're going to get on the back end.
Yeah, that has been a really common theme with every single person that I was just referencing. They have no repricing strategy. So either A, it's junk because they've just never repriced it and it's tanked, or yeah, they're not competitive. You know, I had a friend of mine, I think it was Fields of Profit. You guys probably know him. He gave me some advice. I think this was quite a while ago, maybe 3 years ago plus. I was manually repricing all my stuff at the time because I only had a couple hundred items. And I think he said in one of his videos, and it inspired me, he's like, when you set up a repricer the right way, if you've never really like had one, you're going to have the best next 30 to 60 days of your life. And it is so true. Whether it is you manually going through, which is going to take a lot of time, but even better, setting up a repricer. I mean, I had my best 3 to 4 months after setting up that repricer. So that was just fantastic advice, Mike. So true. So true.
It's funny because my sales have kind of spiked since I changed my repricer last month. And I'm just like, it just reiterates everything. Like we have to, without cash flow, you don't got a business. You're not making no money at the end of the day. So we got to sell this stuff. Like I want to be like Steve, where like my inventory is under 500, right? I don't want 5,000. It's not something to be proud of. I just told you guys it's $5,000 minimum sitting at Amazon. I want to have 0, right? It's the same idea when I see these eBay sellers like, I got 30,000 listings. Well, shit, shouldn't you want to have 0? Because that means everything's sold, right? You just want to have 0 listings across the board because that means everything's sold. And sometimes, sure, do I lose $1? Do I lose $2? It's the cost of doing business. Honestly, you're not going to win on everything you buy.
Especially on Amazon. Like I could see like maybe on eBay having a big inventory because eBay is so much easier to deal with. But on Amazon, the more inventory you have the more long-term storage fees, more items that you're going to have to reprice, more items that could possibly give you an IP, more items that, could go stranded or high pricing errors or low pricing errors. I mean, I agree 100%. it's not all about the size of your inventory that matters. It's the quality of your inventory. I would say though, if you're running a thrifting model, if you want to go from 5K to 10K, you're probably going to have to grow your inventory. Unless you have a really amazing honey hole where you can increase your ASP like crazy. But I'm curious, Mike, with your repricing, are you using NeuroPrice or Amazon or just go to Lister? What do you?
I use Reprice it. I've used it since day one. Never left it.
I used to use it. It's great for books.
Yeah, I mean, if for thrifting, it gets the job done. But if you're going to do any type of, flips like you're doing E to A to A, you need something where you could set mins and maxes, minimum ROI profits. But if you're just a thrifting person, Reprice will work perfectly for you. But if you're doing any type of higher flips, then you definitely need to get something a little bit fancier.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you because I haven't used Reprice it in maybe, I don't know, 7, 8 years.
It's the same as when you set it up 7 years ago. Nothing's changed.
With the dashboard, it was so like
dashboard's the same, dude. It's like going back to MySpace. It's the same thing, dude. You would be like, oh, I'm right at home.
So kind of jog my memory again, like with Reprice it, how does it reprice your inventory? Because like, I guess I'll explain what mine does. I use Be Cool. I think Be Cool, Aura, they're all probably similar, but I set up a minimum price and a maximum price. So it's like guardrails. Think of guardrails on the highway. I'm driving on the highway. I can't go off that. So like minimum might be 20, max might be 30. It has to reprice in there. But I also, and I set up, they call it AI repricing. I don't know if it's like what it's actually doing, but you can set it to price more aggressively towards one side of the guardrail or the lower side of the guardrail. Like you can have it kind of jump around. And then I also set up what are known as conditional repricing rules, which essentially is like, hey, if it doesn't sell within 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, you can go outside of the guardrails. So it's a bit more advanced. What does Reprice it do? How does that work in comparison to what, my repricer does?
It's blanket, right? So we don't have mins or maxes for each and every item. Ours is literally, it's all of your inventory being repriced. Now you can set it up, like say if you want to be the person that's like, I want to reprice my DVDs different than my CDs, than my books. And you can, as long as your SKUs are set up that way, like you got DVD and a SKU of your DVD, you can set up like wildcards and reprice and have different templates for each one. They do have the capability, like you said. So like the way I started repricing, after 6 months, I added another template. So I got one template for 7 days to 6 months. And then after 6 months, it's another template. So you can have different things. You can do any kind of days, any kind of value in there. But yeah, I mean, yours is mins and max for every item, right?
Every single item, yeah. And then I get to set a rule, like for certain ASINs, I'll have it priced more aggressive and then less aggressive towards the minimum price or towards the maximum.
Yeah. See, that's the big difference. And you got to do that because you're spending up for the items. For us, it's like, there's no way. I couldn't even imagine doing mins and maxes for 5,000 items where I'm only going to make $4, $3 on some of it. So it's another one of these things. Like you said, it's what business model do you have? There's a software that's going to work out for you. And, we like to tell everybody, they all have free trials. You can try them all for absolutely nothing for a certain amount of time. Try before you buy, take the test drive, see what one works best for you. Don't use Be Cool because Steve says to. Don't use Reprice it because Mike says to. Do what's best for your business. And the fact you can try them all for free kind of gives you a leg up to see kind of what you like, what's working for you,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, thanks, Jazz. Jazz says, thanks so much for your transparency. So many business owners try to sell how easy it is when that's not the case. Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's definitely not easy. It takes hard work and it takes time. None of us are driving around with Lamborghinis.
Not yet. Not yet.
Tesla soon, but
I get like a 1995 Lamborghini Diablo or something for like a book pickup. Maybe I just rent it for the day, be like a cool YouTube video, and I can fit like one box of books in the back.
Right. Well, cool, Mike. I got to get running as well.
Yeah, man. Let's get out of here, dude. We're out of here.
We're at that time, but thanks everybody for watching. If you haven't already, check out Avery's YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, Romer the Romer, also Mike's channel at The Used Book Guy. Great content. And of course, over at my channel at Rake and Profit, if you guys want to learn how to sell on Amazon. So thanks everybody. Beard King Picker, Alex, Failing At, what's going on? What is a good scanning app for Canadians? Scoutly, right?
Yep.
Julius, thank you so much. Dave, appreciate it. All right, guys, we're out.
We
We'll see
appreciate you all. Everybody have a good night. I'm going to watch Unsolved Mysteries. Peace out.
I love it. Much
See you,
love.
Steve.
Bye. Take care, Mike.
You too.